I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. And on Thursday, we went live on the channel and across several channels at Chat Sports and did a live Chat Sports 3-round mock draft. Myself, producer Cullen, made the picks for the Bears. A lot of you guys tuned in for that, so you know who I picked. But if you didn't, or if you want deeper analysis on why I made each of those picks, that's what we're going to do here on today's show. So a little 3-round mock draft for you guys here on the show. And speaking of the draft, we are getting closer and closer to the real shebang. If you see this thumbnail next Thursday, that is where we will be live for day one of the NFL draft. That's how you'll know it's Bears Now. So click on that video Thursday night and join us. So be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you see that thumbnail, that is our live day one draft coverage. Okay, round one, pick number 10, and I was met with conflicting responses, understandably so, when it comes to Mike Green. That was my selection with the number 10 pick. And I do want to add this. There were no trades. I would have traded down if I was able to. And the way the board fell, I just picked who I thought was the best player available at a premium position. So this is how the draft fell in the first 9 picks before we ended up taking Mike Green, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. No surprises there. Will Campbell to the Patriots, Tyler Warren to the Jaguars, Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders, Armin Mimbu to the Jets, Mason Graham fell to 8 to Carolina. Jacksonville and Carolina were simulated picks as we don't have channels for those two teams. Shedeur Sanders went to the Saints at 9. So to me, all the guys I'd really want, like the Mason Grahams, the Will Campbells, the Ashton Jeantys, they were all gone. And as a player, I think Mike Green is that next guy. Now, I feel like I always have to say this with Mike Green to like defend my character or something, even though if you guys have watched the show for a long time, I think you guys know where I stand on these things. If I was actually running the Bears, if this was the real draft and I was in charge and I did not have clear answers on the 2 sexual assault allegations, obviously I wouldn't take him at number 10. But for this exercise, to take a player we haven't taken a lot at 10 in these mocks, and just how the way it fell out as a pure player, I think he's the next best player in this draft and has a chance to be a Khalil Mack light type of player in the NFL. So I did just want to get that out there. Harrison, he's got the off the field. I am well aware. That is well documented. If you don't have clear answers there, you can't take them, and you shouldn't take them. But if you do get answers, and if we talk about the football player Mike Green, I think he's got a chance to be really, really good. He plays bigger than his size, but I think his size is big enough anyway at 6'3 and an eighth and 250 pounds. I think he sets the edge really well in the run game. When he went up against premium competition, Ohio State and Virginia Tech, he had 3 sacks, several pressures. At the Senior Bowl, he dominated. He's twitchy. He's quick. He's got good power for his size. He's got an arsenal of pass rush moves. The production was there. Like, to me, as a player, he checks almost every box. Sure, I would have liked him to go up against the Big Ten schedule week in and week out, but that's not what we got here. But he got recruited to play at Virginia, had to leave there for that sexual assault allegation, although he's openly talked about that at the NFL Combine. And he said it was kind of a mutual thing between he and the school. It didn't sound like he was just straight forced out. Again, that part of it is up to these teams to figure out. I made this pick purely from a football decision because it's a fun live 3-round mock draft. I'm not actually in charge of the Chicago Bears, but as a player, I would be comfortable taking him at 10 if he did check out. And by the way, the agility testing there, that is in line with players like Khalil Mack, TJ Watt, and other star players in the NFL. Okay, Dane Brugler said this about Mike Green. Green is a twitchy athlete with the burst and body control to win a one-on-one as a pass rusher and set a violent edge in the run game. As long as his character checks out, he's one of the top pass rush prospects in this draft class with the disruptive ability to be an NFL starter. And for what it's worth, Dane Brugler, who I consider one of, if not the best draft analyst in the game, it's his number 10 player in this draft. Bears pick at number 10. So I think as a player, this would not be a reach. Now, would Dennis Allen want him anyway, regardless of the character stuff, because he has shorter arms, because he's a little bit smaller than like a prototypical Dennis Allen edge, 6'5", 6'6", 260, 270. He's not that. But he was also in Denver when they drafted Von Miller, who had similar size to Mike Green. I'd say that one worked out pretty well, pretty productive career. I just think you need another premium pass rusher. I think this guy has a chance to give you that. Might take a year because obviously big adjustment to NFL talent. But again, when he's gone up against NFL caliber talent, he's more than held his own. He's been one of the best players on the field. So I really like the player. I think he's uber talented. I think he could be a Khalil Mack type of player in the NFL, or even like 80% of that, which would be a very, very good pro. It just does come down to the character red flags, which I don't have full access to the information. That would be up to the Bears. I would guess they're not going to draft him because they value character a lot. Unless, I'll put it this way, if they draft him, they did a lot of research and feel good about the person and not just the player. But in this simulation, in this exercise, I went ahead and took him at number 10. Would you guys take Mike Green at number 10 if the off-field stuff cleared? Yes or no? If that was not a problem and the Bears check those boxes, would you take him? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, a pick I think everybody can get behind here is Josh Conerly Jr. He was still on the board, round 2, pick number 39 overall, which I'll just say this, would be shocking to me because A, offensive tackles always go earlier than you think, and B, I think he's a top 20-ish player in this draft. I really, really do. For the Bears, he might be a fringe top 15 player considering they do want to bring in someone at left tackle. I thought he had a good Senior Bowl week. He's gotten better and better every year. Good arm length. You'd like him to be a little bit taller, but it's not like he's small by any means whatsoever. He put Abdul Carter in jail when they played Penn State in the Big Ten title game. Carter was not a factor in that game whatsoever, so that impresses me quite a bit. And by the way, speaking of Mike Green put Josh Conerly on his ass at the Senior Bowl on that one rep that went viral. But despite that, Conerly was still voted whatever team he was on. I think they have American and national team at the Senior Bowl. Best offensive lineman of the week, so he had a great week there. Still ascending as a prospect. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Tom Downey's a little lower on him, but I like him more than Tom. He kind of reminds me, his draft process, of Darnell Wright, where Darnell Wright was viewed as like a second-round pick when the college football season ended, but then the All-Star games, the Combine came in, all of a sudden he went number 10 overall. I'm not saying the Bears are going to take Josh Conerly at number 10, but I wouldn't be shocked if we went top 15, top 20. It's an offensive line draft that doesn't have a lot of clear-cut tackles. Will Campbell, kind of a tweener. Kelvin Banks, kind of a tweener. Even Armin Mimbu, can he play on the left side? That's a question mark. Josh Conerly Jr., multi-year starter at left tackle, and he has the measurables you're looking for, 34-plus inch arms. So I'm a fan of him. Again, I'm not saying he's better than Will Campbell. I'm just saying if you're looking for a guy, plug-and-play competition at left tackle with a good chance to start at least by year 2, if not this year, I think Josh Conerly could be that guy. Brugler had this to say about him, saying that Conerly must continue refining his hands and core strength, but he is on the right trajectory and enters the NFL with a promising foundation based on athletic movements and body control. Currently a bend-don't-break blocker, has the talent to become a solid starter early in his career. To me, that's like textbook what Ryan Poles is talking about. We need to bring in competition. He's minimum competition, maximum. He takes over, and he's your day one starting left tackle. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's the one position on the offensive line that is somewhat in question as we enter, OTAs and training camp. I would expect the Bears to add someone at that spot. Today's show is sponsored by Rocket Money, a personal finance app that can help you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Smart money moves are all about getting more out of every dollar. With Rocket Money, you can easily find forgotten subscriptions and have them negotiate bills for you, putting money back in your pocket. With those savings, Rocket Money practically pays for itself. The Rocket Money dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. It's easy to create and personalize a budget with Rocket Money with custom categories to help keep your spending on track. You can figure out just how much per month and annually you're spending on subscriptions. I would almost say with certainty, can't speak for everyone out there, you probably are paying for a subscription that you don't use consistently. And that's just lighting money on fire. And look, do what you want with your money, but we're trying to help you, Rocket Money, try to help you scale back and build those savings up. If you're like me, you got a 2-year-old, you got big bills, a mortgage, daycare. I'm trying to build a college fund for my son, PJ. You got to really pick and choose what you're willing to spend money on. And Rocket Money is going to give you a really clear outlook on what you're spending on a month-to-month basis. Lots of benefits with Rocket Money. They have over 5 million users and have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 per year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money by going to rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. If you use our link, it helps support us. You support yourself by using Rocket Money. It's a win-win. rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. Okay, Quinnshan Judkins comes off the board. We get him at 41. And again, this was a fun exercise because about 18 to 20 of the 32 teams had live hosts and shows where they're making their picks as well. And I feel like we still ended up with a haul that is pretty good and pretty fun for the Chicago Bears. Judkins, a player we've talked about numerous times here. He's just built like a rock, right? I mean, almost 6 foot, 220, can run between the tackles, can bounce it. I've said this before, I'll say it again, but when you go into the SEC as an 18-year-old freshman in a Lane Kiffin offense where they already have talented offensive players and you rush for 1,500 yards, I mean, you're doing something right. Has 2 productive years in Oxford, transfers to Ohio State, has a great year in Columbus as a part of a 1-2 punch with TreVeyon Henderson. So selfless player, just saw the bigger picture, and those 2 guys helped Ohio State win a national championship. And Judkins, I think some, not all, but some draft, quote-unquote experts have kind of put him into this frame of, he's more of a thumper, he's not that wiggly. Well, part of that was Ohio State asked him to kind of be their dirty work guy, which he can do, and which led to TreVeyon Henderson getting more of the explosive plays. Go watch Judkins' games at Ole Miss, though. Like, all the time, he's busting 30, 40, 50-yard runs. And he still had a few of those last year as well, but his yards per carry average dipped down 5.5 yards per carry. Because if they're on the goal line, they're giving the ball to Judkins. Like, that's who their more physical back was. Henderson's more of that finesse home run guy. So I'm a big fan. I think he can do it all. I think he can be a true 3-down workhorse. I like the fit with DeAndre Swift. Dane Brugler had this to say about Judkins. See, I disagree with the first part of this. Maybe he's not quite as juiced up as his teammate Henderson, but I still think he's pretty dynamic. I do agree with the attitude he plays with, the quickness, vision, violence, to be a productive lead option in an NFL backfield. He can help secure a spot on the depth chart by taking his passing down responsibilities from serviceable to above average. I just don't see how you can watch his, even just highlights, which is kind of a lazy way of watching a player's tape, and say he's not dynamic and explosive. And he ran in the mid-4.4s, and he had vertical and broad jump, really high tier. You look at the relative athletic score, like, to me, he's the definition of dynamic. Sure, he may not have quite the straight line speed as TreVeyon Henderson, but he has much better vision as a runner. He's more physical. I think he meshes well with Swift. I think there's untapped potential as a pass catcher. We saw a little bit more of that at Ole Miss. Again, at Ohio State, that was more Henderson's role. But, I'm bullish on Judkins. He's my 3rd running back in this draft, after Ashton Jeanty and Amarian Hampton. If no Ashton Jeanty, if he doesn't get to 10 or if the Bears don't trade up for him and get him, which running back do you want to draft? Do you want to get Judkins? Do you want to maybe trade down, get Amarian Hampton? How about Caleb Johnson, who actually was off the board at 33, so he wasn't even an option at 39 or 41? Let us know. Judkins is a guy I've really come around on. I think he's an excellent, excellent option. Okay, then a Cullen draft crush, Andrew Makuba. We debated Makuba and CJ West. I could have gone either way. We went Makuba here since we had already added a trenches player and Mike Green on the defensive line. I do think safety is sneakily a position the Bears need to add at. Linebackers a position to watch as well. But Makuba is kind of in that grouping of safeties you could take in the 2nd or 3rd round before there's a drop-off before day 3 options. The measurables don't stand out at under 6 feet and under 190 pounds. At least that's what he measured at the combine. But just always around the ball. Willing tackler, playmaker with 5 picks in the 12 breakups. Ran better than I expected, 4.45, so that was a positive number for him. I think he can play free safety. He could give you some help in nickel. Strong safety probably in the NFL is a little bit of a tougher ask for him to be in the box all the time, given his frame, but he is a willing tackler. He plays bigger than his 186-pound frame, so he could do some of that. I do think he has the versatility in a defensive backfield that Dennis Allen would look for. And again, if you're going to not have the best measurables, like, be a playmaker. And that absolutely is what he is. Very instinctive player. That's why he's always around the football. And, Downey's got him in the top 90, so I think 72 is perfectly in that range. And, I really like him. He's just a football player. Sometimes, you try to find these reasons. Well, they have long arms or they run really fast or whatever. Like, I just watch this kid. I'm like, he just knows how to play. Like, he'll probably be in the league for 10 years. Whether he's a full-time starter that whole time, that remains to be seen. But I kind of like this fit with the Bears because come in, be that third safety, rotate in. Brisker's a guy who's had some injuries. Byard's going to be free agent after this year, so he'll have some opportunities to play, contribute on special teams, and then take over as a full-time starter in 2026. Dane Brugler had this to say about Andrew Makuba. He said his lack of size will be more noticeable against NFL competition. Probably true, both in coverage and run support, but he brings energy, instincts, and play speed to the secondary. He has the mentality and talent to compete for a starting role at free safety. And look, who's better to learn under than a guy like Kevin Byard, who's been durable as hell, a team captain with Tennessee. I think he was one of the Bears captains last year as well. He's been kind of a staple in the NFL for a decade and a very, very productive safety, a guy who's also versatile and can play both spots. So I think that would be an ideal situation for Andrew Mukuba to get drafted into, and a good fit for the Bears too, for a guy who could, I think, take over as a full-time starter in 26 and in a pinch give you some quality snaps here in 2025 as well. So there you go. Those were the selections I ended up with in this 3-round live Chat Sports mock draft on Thursday. If you want to go see how it went pick by pick, I did a full breakdown on my other channel on 4Vert, so go check that out. But Mike Green, Josh Conerly Jr., Quinshon Judkins, and Andrew Mukuba, the 4 selections we end up with. Remember, no trade. So I think given that, and obviously with the caveat of the Mike Green off the field, but for this exercise, if you take that out of it, I think that's 4 guys that you feel pretty good about contributing as rookies, and at least 2 or 3 of those being starters right away. And, I heard Daniel Jeremiah say the other day, you got to view this draft as a starters draft, not a stars draft. And I thought that was a really good kind of thing to take away, because you may not find a lot of stars in this draft, but you can get starters all the way into the 3rd round and maybe even on day 3. So I think that's got to be the approach for the Chicago Bears. Okay, grade my draft haul, A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel like we did here on this exercise, A, B, C, D, or F? And don't forget to join us for round 1 of the real NFL draft. Who will that man take at number 10 overall? Will he trade up? Will he trade down? We'll be here live to cover it all here on the channel. Spread that link with a friend, youtube.com/BearsNow. Plenty of content until then as well, so we'll see you soon.